As a part of the 8-year anniversary, all of the uniforms in the game are currently on sale at a 50% discount. So I had a couple people reach out to me asking for my thoughts on uniforms. As you can see, there is 423 uniforms in the game, and depending on your playstyle, you may prefer certain uniforms over others. However, in this video, I'm going to be breaking down by category some of my favorite uniforms currently in the game, the ones that I get the most value out of. Keep in mind that some uniforms will not be available for the anniversary because of the fact that they are seasonal. Now, the reason why I'm even putting seasonal uniforms on this list is simply because I'm always getting people asking, hey, you didn't mention this uniform. Hey, I'm new to the game. I see people have this uniform, but I can't buy this one for whatever reason. So I'm putting them here because I want to make sure that you guys understand the reason why you can't buy these uniforms is because they only pop up at certain times of the year. So for example, in the case of Black Cat, this uniform only comes around Christmas time, so in December. And in the case of Black Bolt, this one only comes around for Halloween. Additionally, I have another category here that I decided to add last minute because of the fact that there's certain uniforms in the game, like Adam Warlock's, for example, that is very, very powerful. So people might be tempted to buy this uniform, but with the Guardians of the Galaxy update coming up next week, he's in line to get a new uniform because he is a part of the movie. So do keep that in mind. This is why I'm putting this category here. If you guys think it's a waste of time in the future, I will not do it. Let's move on and let's fly through this really quickly. So we have seasonal uniforms like Magic, Magneto, White Fox. Obviously, these are not going to be on sale. Quicksilver, people love him. Thanos, an April Fool's Day uniform, so you're not going to be able to buy that one. I want to make sure that everything is explicitly clear. Okay, so we have Scarlet Witch. The primary reason for you to buy this uniform for Scarlet is if you care about Extreme Alliance Battle on the Universal Superhero Day or Universal Female Superhero Day. If you do not care about Alliance Battle, you should not be buying this uniform for Scarlet Witch. Same thing for Shadow Shell. Well, Shadow Shell is a little bit different because she has tier 4 at her disposal, and she also has a team in Alliance Conquest where you can put her together with the Syrian Sunbird and Blue Dragon, and they're actually quite formidable. Now, the reason why I put Conquest Plus here is because of the fact that we have a new game mode coming with the drop of the next update that is supposedly going to combine Timeline Battle and Alliance Conquest together and function very similar to how these game modes currently function. So I figured I would put some of the top characters for Alliance Conquest in this tier list in case you guys want to snag a couple of the top performers in AC, because they may actually become staples in the new Starlight Arena that is coming in the next few weeks. So do keep that in mind. However, I didn't want to just put Conquest Plus as a category and put all of the best PvP characters in there on the off chance that that game mode doesn't pan out to be anything. So I wanted to actually put the timeline meta characters that are for sure going to be able to compete. So people like Hulk, Carnage, Spider-Man, Colossus, Ebony Maw, Hela, these characters are currently a big part of Timeline Battle, and I don't see them going anywhere anytime soon. And if they keep the Timeline Battle formula of using 3 characters on your team, then these characters for sure will be popping up quite a lot in the Starlight Arena. However, if they make the Starlight Arena play out more like Alliance Conquest, where you have to use a new team each time, then obviously you're going to need to flush out your roster more, which is where these characters that do really well in Alliance Conquest are going to play a role. So people like America Chavez that are just not good enough for Timeline Battle at the moment because tier 4s are so powerful, they do really well in Alliance Conquest. So I'm curious to see how they're going to perform in this new Starlight Arena. People like Emma Frost, obviously you want to get their artifacts because the artifacts will make these characters significantly better. In the case of Carnage and Emma Frost, for example, without their artifacts, they're really not near as good even if you have their uniforms. So we're going to go through this really quickly. Drax is really good in AC, but this is another one that you do not want to buy because with the Guardians update coming, he's definitely going to be getting a new uniform. Now, the reason why I'm saying you should not buy this yet is simply so you can see what Drax's new uniform does for him, because you never know. His new uniform might actually completely transform him into a different type of character, like what we saw for Thanos, where Thanos in his Pharma uniform is now a PvE character, whereas previously with the Obsidian armor, Thanos was a more PvP focused character. And let me just say this, if you do not have the farmer uniform for Thanos, your next best bet is to pick up this uniform here for him, the obsidian armor, because he's still top 5 in timeline battle, and he's more than likely going to be a main player in the Starlight Arena regardless of how good it is, because of the fact that it is a PvP game mode. Next up, people like Cersei with a revive, really good for conquest. I see her playing a role in the Starlight Arena. Shang-Chi same way. Wolverine just not good enough right now for timeline battle, but he's a major player for Alliance Conquest, so you could consider picking up this uniform for him if you have his artifact. If you don't have his artifact, I would say do not buy. However, I'm not too sure how far out his new uniform will be, especially when you consider the fact that we thought we would be getting a new uniform for Luna Snow 6+ months ago, and even now we still haven't gotten anything for her yet. Moving on, I would say the best value, if you could only buy one uniform, this is the one you want to buy. If you have a bunch of deluxe packages that you're missing, buy the deluxe package for Magneto and get yourself Jean Grey. I think that is the best bang for your buck. Support characters are really good, but Jean Grey just covers so much content that you absolutely need to get her, because the Starlight Arena is more than likely going to be flooded with Jean Grey. You do not want to be one of those people that get caught with your pants down and get wrecked. I saw people asking me about my tier list and why I keep putting the older uniform for Cyclops over the newer one, even though it is a little bit better. The reason for that is we do not have a lot of blast supervillain support characters, and this uniform for Cyclops is one of the only ones we have, so the Phoenix uniform will hold value over the other version of Cyclops. Next up, we have Taskmaster, obviously a support character. Then we have the Surfer, still timeline meta, especially if you give him an authority with steel on it. Next up, we have Titania, that's ABX Valkyrie, ABX meta and a support. I don't know which one you guys value more. I would say people probably value the support role more, so I'll put her a little bit higher in the support role. I know not everyone cares about ABX, that's why I kind of set it up like this. Everyone kind of has no choice but to care about timeline battle, since that's where you get your crystals. And then GBR and World Boss Legend, you have no choice but to care about those game modes. Next up, Ancient One, a big part of timeline battle, arguably stronger than Silver Surfer at this point. It's a easy counter to Jean Grey. If you don't have this uniform for Ancient One, get it, okay? Iron Man, World Boss Legend, and Giant Boss Raid. If you really like Iron Man, it's a good pickup. Professor X is really good for that as well. Namor is falling out of ABX, but he's still really good for World Boss Legend and Giant Boss Raid, so I'm gonna put him there. I'm gonna put Morgan Le Fay there, since she's a seasonal uniform that people always ask about. If you guys think the seasonal category is useless, let me know, and I'll definitely will not put it next time, but I'm putting it for this time just to see what you guys think. Obviously, Thor is ABX meta, but in addition to that, he's one of the best characters for Giant Boss Raid and World Boss Legend. Same goes for Sharon Rogers. If you don't have any uniforms for her, this is definitely her best one by far. However, if you had the Light Series armor, you can stick with that one because you don't necessarily need her for anything else as of right now. Sticking with the GBR category, Venom is another one that's a banger for that. So if you like King of Light Venom, go ahead and pick that one up. Next up, we have She-Hulk. She's currently ABX meta, so I'm going to put her in the AB category, even though she has a great leadership, which could be counted as a support because you get 60% extra damage to male types. Moving on, we have Ant-Man, another character that is a killer for Giant Boss Raid and World Boss Legend. And the reason why I put this category here is simply because of the fact that in the dev note that we got letting us know that we're getting a new PvP game mode, they also said they were working on a new harder World Boss Legend. So I want to highlight characters that currently cut through World Boss Legend like in record time on my roster. So if you guys want to pick them up at a discount. And next up, we have Dr. Doom, Alliance Conquest. He is definitely one of the best characters. However, I know some of you guys may not want to spend the crystals for him, but realistically, I don't think he's going to be getting a new uniform within this year, but who knows, anything could happen. Sticking with the AC category, Elektra is really good, so is Electro. If you give these guys a CTP of authority, they're two of the best speed characters for AC. Speaking of speed characters, Maya Lopez is really good for AC. Same goes for Wong. He's a support character, but realistically, there's no one in the meta for him to support right now because Adam Warlock is slowly getting pushed out of timeline battle. Same goes for Doctor Strange and Mephisto. So the most value you're going to get out of Wong is realistically in Alliance Conquest if you put him on a team with Doctor Doom and Magic. That team is actually very, very powerful. Or Doctor Doom and Adam Warlock, because all of these guys have the magic ability and Wong offers 45%, actually it's 53% 50% extra damage to heroes and villains if you have that magic tag. It's a very powerful ability. Blue Marvel, definitely one for AC. Makari, another one that's really good for AC if you give her a greed. Gilgamesh, another one for AC. Absorbing Man, another one for AC. Jessica Jones, Juggernaut, Kingo, a lot of characters that are really good for AC. And again, the only reason why I'm telling you guys to consider these guys for AC is because I've used them and they actually perform very well. However, these uniforms in the Conquest Plus category shouldn't be your first pick. They should actually be your last pick after we see what happens on the live stream in the new Starlight Arena. If it has trash rewards when it drops, or if it doesn't require more than the same 3 character setup that Timeline Battle currently offers, then you can just skip over all of these characters that I'm showing you here. Okay, Hulkbuster is another one that's really good for AC. Same goes for Invisible Woman. Heimdall, Mr. Sinister is really good if you have his artifact. Surprisingly, Robbie Reyes, Supergiant, really good for AC. Same goes for Quasar. War Machine is actually a pretty decent support for the Machine team if you're using Rescue and Hulkbuster together. Obviously, the Wasp is one of the best supports for AC because she gives you all attack, all defense, debuff removal, and extra HP. Then we have supports like Wave, Proxima Midnight. Proxima is actually really good for AC as well if you give her a CDP of Greed, but I run mine with an Insight because I use her for ABX to buff. Couple more characters that's really good for Alliance Conquest: Black Dwarf, Agent Venom, and Beast. Beast is more of a support than anything because he gives you extra HP and ignore dodge. Obviously, we gotta put Daredevil in here for the Defenders team up. Same goes for Corvus Glaive because of that revive is really good for Alliance Conquest. Black Widow is really good for ABX. Blue Dragon is one of the strongest DPS in the game. She has a lot of utility in World Boss Legend, Giant Boss Raid, and Alliance Conquest with the Warriors of the Sky team setup. Captain Marvel, this one right here is situational because she's really powerful against super villains in Alliance Conquest. Then we have Green Goblin, aka Red Goblin, for Alliance Battle. He's also really good for AC, surprisingly, but more than anything else, his value right now is as a leader, support, and an Alliance Battle character. I guess I could put him right here in the support category since it's higher up, so more people would probably look at this more favorable than him being down here in the ABX category. The next two we gotta put on here is Dr. Octavius and Moon Knight. These guys are ABX and ABL specifically. Obviously though, since they're tier 4s, they do really well in Giant Boss Raid and World Boss Legend, but the majority of people that's building Dr. Octavius, they're building him primarily for ABL. Truthfully speaking, I guess I should put Moon Knight a little bit higher than Dr. Octavius, and that's simply because of the fact that he has the Weapon Master tag, and you need that. Currently, he's the only Weapon Master that can actually clear, I believe it is stage 75 to 79 against Mephisto in World Boss Legend. Then we have Riri. Riri is basically a leadership and a support. We have Captain America, which is a top tier DPS for Giant Boss Raid and World Boss Legend. And last but definitely not least, we have Falcon for Alliance Conquest. So ladies and gents, I'm gonna wrap it up right here. I tried to go through this thing as quickly as possible. These are the uniforms that I would be considering if I didn't already own them and they were on sale for 50% off. Let me know in the comment section if I missed anyone. I tried to make this list as small as I possibly could, but even then there's what, like 83 options on here which is still pretty excessive. But just remember what I said, if the new Starlight Arena doesn't require more than like 3 character setups, you can just skip over this entire row here and you can focus on just the guys from Alliance Battle and up.